This is a Headgum original.
Evan, it's a brothers only episode, so I think we should jump right into it with the corrections. Oh, I always forget we have a theme song now. Oh, it's sad that we went, 45 episodes without... I think that's only the third time I've heard that theme song.
Criminal.
Think of all the corrections
criminal.
we did. All of the brothers eps only corrections we've done. And the corrections for this week, we have a couple. One is, a couple weeks ago, we did an episode with Pat Castles. We were talking about A Long December. We were talking about, it's a lot of oysters and no pearls. And
Yes.
we were talking about how, as a youth, I associated eating oysters with grossness and decadence, in large part because of the 1990 film Dick Tracy, directed by Warren Beatty.
Right.
Right? Because Big Boy, I said, played by Al Pacino, is slurping those oysters.
And he's the main villain. He's
the main villain.
The main cartoonish villain in that
slurping
movie.
the oysters, and it's like, this is a guy who has no moral code. He likes to go to fancy restaurants and spend too much money. He kills people, and
The oysters
he's
are a
hedonist.
strong signifier that he is a hedonist, a sensualist that we are meant to despise.
But he's also gross. He's not thinking of the feelings of people around him making that noise while he's slurping oysters. And just for fun, I went back to watch the clip. It's not Al Pacino, a.k.a. Big Boy, slurping the oysters. What? I know.
Oh, massive correction. A huge detail.
Correction.
You Berenstain Bears yourself.
It's Paul Sorvino, the actor Paul Sorvino, who, I don't know if you rewatched Dick Tracy recently.
Never.
For some reason,
I probably will
have.
never rewatch it.
It sucks. At the beginning of the movie, he's like the top dog in whatever city Dick Tracy lives in. Maybe it's New York. Maybe it's a fictional city. Can't remember. He's the top dog slurping oysters.
What's his name? The bad guy's
Lips Manless.
Ooh.
And
That's extremely slurpy. Of course he's slurping.
Yeah, he has
With a
the
name
big
like
lips. So he's slurping the oysters, and then Big Boy, who is an associate of his, kidnaps him, kills him, takes over the city. So that is the first correction. It was not Big Boy, played by Al Pacino, slurping oysters. It was Lips Manless, played by Paul Sorvino. And the second correction, just last episode, we were talking about Sugar by Maroon 5.
Yeah, I hate it.
You hate it, and we were talking about how they are one of the... Not only is that song on the top 30 most viewed YouTube videos of all time list.
Yeah.
Maroon 5 is one of the only people with 2 songs on that. I think only one person has 3, Ed Sheeran. I'm not going to double check that. Hopefully I won't have to make a correction in a future week.
It's a very clear statement that I am wrong. The world thinks I am wrong about whether or not this is a good song.
Yeah.
The world loves the song Sugar by Maroon 5.
Yes, they do. It's in the top 30. And they have a second top 30 song on the YouTube most viewed list. And I didn't really know what it was, but I just was trying to get past the fact. And I said it was Payphone. I was like, oh, it's probably Payphone. And you correctly stated, but I was like, no, it's Payphone. You correctly stated it's Girls Like You.
You're
Girls
correcting
Like
yourself and giving me applaudit.
You. Yeah, you applaud it.
Wow.
Off the album Red Pill Blues. Kind of a weird album name. Red Pill Blues.
I don't love it. I didn't know that they named their album after. You know, they could have come up with that album name before Red Pills got taken away from the larger culture, like Pepe.
Came out in 2017.
Oh,
That's post 2016 election.
That's a bad look.
But we have one last correction, Evan, and I think it is the most shocking, the most despicable, and just the most insane correction we've ever done on the correction segment.
Oh, what is it going to be?
Sacre bleu! It is that last week on our episode, Within a Da, about Sugar by Maroon 5.
I have to say, great episode.
It's a good episode.
You don't want to do a lot of like virginal back patting energy around here, but
and it was very funny. She's a very funny person. At the end of that episode, I said, "We'll see you back here next week with another punch up." And like I said, I am shocked to say that this week we do not have another punch up for you.
What?
Nor will we on any other future week, because in the intervening week, between Inna recording her great episode and
now,
us recording this soon-to-be great episode, yet bittersweet episode, we have found out there will be no more episodes of Punch Up the Jam.
Punch Up the Jam has been canceled, and you're hearing it here first.
Yeah. So there's not another Punch Up. We're just going to reminisce. We're going to talk about our year as hosts, as caretakers of this great podcast.
I don't want to call it a victory lap because it is bittersweet. It's a reminiscence. We're going to look back on, as fortune would have it, this is our 52nd episode.
Wow.
As hosts of this show. So Evan and Andrew have done 1 year's worth of punching. And I think why is the show canceled? Because the amount of money available to fund podcast shows has vastly shrunk. Yes. And Andrew and I like to blame it on Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yes. As you may or may not know, $20 billion of fake cryptocurrency has just disappeared out of our economy. Mm-hmm. And I would estimate that at least $100 million of that was personally owned by Jake and Amir.
Don't blame this on Jake and Amir.
So,
$100 million of it for sure was just phantom money buying podcast ads.
So once that $100 million of podcast buying cryptocurrency just disappears into Sam Bankman-Fried's wire transfer fraud scheme, there are going to be fewer podcasts out there, guys. This might not be your only favorite podcast that's putting out their last episode this month. Watch out.
Punching
Watch out,
up
podcast
jams.
World.
Punching up jams in this economy.
Let's punch it.
Punch up the jam, punch it up while your feet. Punch up the jam, punch it up, punch it, punch it, punch it. Punch up the jam, punch it up, get the party going. Punch up the jam, punch it up, punch it.
That's your greatest ever correction. That's
Biggest correction ever.
That's the biggest swing.
The biggest ever correction is there will be more episodes starting in 7 days.
Which was the most vacuous possible pattern.
Yes.
You're just trying to say the most empty thing to the listeners to say, come back next week.
I'm just trying to finish the episode and just saying, hey, there will be future episodes starting in 7 days. Ended up being
we had to correct it.
My greatest falsehood of all time. My greatest lie. Let's start with the negatives, Evan. What are your biggest regrets about? Now, you were saying we've been doing this for 1 year, and I was doing the math earlier today.
We only took 2 weeks off. So.
We took 2 weeks off. We've done 52 episodes.
July 4th and Thanksgiving.
Or we've done like 50 or 51 episodes. We took July 4th and Thanksgiving off. But I think the first record we did was August of last year because we knew the podcast was going to be so much work doing the songs that we got a running head start. It wasn't like we were like, oh, the podcast's starting in 2 weeks. We'll start now in November. Mm-hmm. We had like 7 or 8 episodes ready to go in December when the Weird Al episode 1 came out. And then like that runway ran out by the time we got to like episode 20 or 30. All those, like we always wanted to be 2 or 3 weeks ahead. And like by the time we went to video 10 episodes ago, like that runway had sadly disappeared. Even though we've been doing this for, in the listener's mind, a year, like you and I, this has been like a lot of what we've done for the last 17 months. For 17 months, this is what we're always thinking about. What are we going to do? What are we going to do with our time? What are we going to do with ourselves?
We're going to sit around doing what we've always done, Andrew, which is punching up songs.
Punching up other songs.
Punching up other songs.
Different ways. Evan, what songs do you wish that we had time to punch up? There are a lot. We had a big list of songs that we wanted to punch up.
As any astute listener would suspect, and we've mentioned it a couple times, of course, you just have a massive running list, as Demi and Mel did, via just their own preferences plus the Patreon, and we also have that massive running list of just stuff that guests have mentioned, songs that we hate and want to get to, but maybe we want to pair it with the perfect guest, or we just haven't dialed in what the idea is. But also, of course, the fans be flying in on the DMs with ideas.
A lot of great fan suggestions.
A lot of terrible fan suggestions.
Some really bad fan suggestions of like songs that were like, hey, this punk classic from 1978 was really bad in London, and it was just like not enough people know this song. I'm sorry. Friend.
I agree. I agree creatively, but we could never make an episode out of it. What do you wish that we had off of that list? What's the
I mean, a couple of them were
the
on
blacklist?
the list.
You know, the Hollywood blacklist of like the best screenplays never produced. We've got the like best potential punch-ups we never punched.
I will say with one other source that ended up being hilarious to me of a lot of the punch-ups that I ended up actually doing. Manic Monday.
Yeah.
Hoobastank's The Reason Is You. Basically like 15, maybe 25 episodes in. I've mentioned this before on the podcast. Maybe it was when we were listening to a lot of Creed around Markiplier's Creed episode.
Yeah.
Something in my YouTube algorithm just clicked. Something like my YouTube algorithm was just like, this has been 9 months of this. I had one idea of who Andrew was, and it's different now. And
Andrew has changed.
Yes, and like The Reason by Hoobastank was just like served to me at the top of my YouTube page, and I was just like, I don't know why the YouTube algorithm thinks I want to listen to that, but 100% I'm doing that in the next 2 weeks and Punch Up the Jam. Like that one, Manic Monday, it just started serving me like the perfect bad in the right way songs from the last 30 years. And the YouTube algorithm really came through in the clutch for me in the last like 6 to 9 months.
Wow, it's a real I guess insult to the fans that are in our DMs that they're being beaten by robots.
Yes, they're getting beaten by robots.
The algorithm is serving up punch-up premises.
Well, not the premises. We're having to come up with the premises. We're working hard.
One that came up that we wanted to do from week one, and this is a regret for me that we never got to, is Country Roads.
Yes, with the, like
by John
while
Denver.
we were in the planning stage, we wanted to do Country Roads. Part of the reason we never did it is because, of course, we wanted a guest from West Virginia.
Yeah, not too many of them.
And there's just fewer people in America from the state of West Virginia than other states.
Yeah, statistically, like our usual approach is we walk out on the streets of Times Square. We walk to Times Square and we just start yelling, can anyone guest on our podcast? Does anyone know anything about the song Sugar by Maroon 5?
Yeah.
And we couldn't find any West Virginians.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's a lot of like really classic.
We should talk about why, though. We should talk about why. Like, what
we grew up
sucks
really
about Country
close
Roads?
to
Everyone
West
loves
Virginia,
that song.
So I feel like we feel particularly qualified to think about West Virginia, even though we're not quite from West Virginia. We're from a West Virginia-ish area of Virginia. And the biggest complaint ever levied against, or most commonly levied against the song Country Roads, especially by West Virginians, is that all of the stuff in the song Country Roads is not actually in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And it makes West Virginians really mad. The Blue Ridge Mountains are in Virginia.
That's in Virginia.
The Shenandoah River.
He's like, Shenandoah, right at the top.
That's in
blatantly
Virginia.
not in West Virginia.
It's just a bunch of Virginia stuff. Like, I've seen big
so
brain...
he's accidentally insulting West Virginians.
Yes. I've seen big brain takes that are like, well, that's all the stuff he's seeing while he's driving from his home in Washington, D.C. to his home in West Virginia.
Oh, come on. That's not what comes across in the song.
Yeah, it's just kind of like... I don't know. Another weird thing that I would like got as far as researching some of the stuff around the song because we were really sure we were going to do it. Another funny thing about it is that it was originally written as I think there's a couple writers on it, John Denver and 2 other people, and it was originally written as Massachusetts. Imagine if people were just trying to write an anthem to Western Massachusetts. You don't say Western Massachusetts because you don't have the syllables. But just like Massachusetts, that CH just doesn't hit like the V of Virginia. West Virginia, you can just really get through a V. You can't get through a ch.
Wow, you're digging in on the consonants.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the amount of consonants that are or aren't in Massachusetts.
Huh.
I'm just thinking about the image of the song as being this like blue collar, country identified
Versus Berkshires.
anthem versus Berkshires. Who listens to the song? Who feels like they can identify with the hillbillies and the rednecks that live in West Virginia? But so an easy punch-up would be, we're just going to make this song about Virginia. Or you delete all the Virginia stuff and you make it actually about West Virginia. We're going whitewater rafting. We're bungee jumping off that big-ass
New River
bridge.
Valley Gorge.
The gorge.
The one that's on the quarter. Everybody's seen the West Virginia quarter. That's a top 10 state quarter. Has the New River Valley Gorge Bridge on it.
Yeah, you're strip mining. Just fun West Virginia stuff.
Another idea we had for the Country Roads that I really liked, I don't know how we would have ever pulled it out.
Wouldn't it be absolutely sick if the actual published version, the John Denver version, just started off with like, West Virginia, love going down to Richmond, visiting.
Just like fully Virginia, like like Monticello,
Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Jamestown.
When John Smith landed.
The another idea we had for country roads that I really wish we'd been able to pull off, but would have been very hard, is one thing that has surprised me. I've learned more about country roads in the last 5 or 6 years because it has become my go-to karaoke song. Because I one time did it. It's a long story, but I did it at karaoke. I didn't really want to, but then I was shocked that everyone freaked out and flipped out and was singing along with it. And I was like, wow, it's really touched a nerve. I should do this on purpose.
Oh, it's nervy. It's nervy. People love it and very singable.
There's a ton of covers, amazing covers of it. There's the Toots and the Maytals cover that is so good about West Jamaica. Like, apparently it's one of the most popular songs worldwide. And just like in all those places, it's about like
going
sure,
home.
It's about West Virginia, but if you're from Croatia or Jamaica or Japan, like it's about going home to your home. And so one of our pitches was like, how do we make this song about like going home in a less specific way? But I don't know how to do that and make it funny. Another pitch I had was, can we just list all 50 states?
Oh, heck
Can we just do all 50 states? And it's like, well, I'm going home in whatever state you live in.
Yeah, a 19-minute version where you get in specifics about Oregon,
Yeah.
Honolulu.
A reasonable number of our pitches, when we start off with them to each other, it's like pretty evident how it's going to be funny. And a reasonable number of them, you start off and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get to the funny part of this, but it turns out in the end. I really wanted to punch up that song, If the World Was Ending.
You know what I love about this episode already is, this is a lot of...
So we don't have to make a punch up.
We don't have to make anything. It's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, but we can give listeners a glimpse into just one little tidbit, one little bite of what is wrong with these huge hits.
Do you have If the World Was Ending in the soundboard, Evan?
No.
Because people might not know this song. I think they do. I don't know. This is a big radio hit.
You want me to pull it?
Yeah. Or just play it on YouTube. This is a big radio hit of the last 3 or 4 years. So I just think I'm like constantly hearing it in my car when I'm in an Uber. And I think this song is so funny because it is purportedly about like, wow, like what if the world was ending and like we weren't going to see each other again? Like, ooh, wow. I really love you a lot. But really it's just like the horniest booty call song ever.
Here, let me play a little bit of it.
I was distracted and in traffic.
This is J.P. Sachs and Julia Michaels in a duet.
But it really got me thinking, were you out drinking? Were you in the living room chilling, watching television?
Like on its surface, the song is like, I still care for you even though we've been broken for a long time. Like, do you still care for me? But like, you don't have to dig that far. It's not even in the like you barely have to scratch the surface to just be like, hey, like if the world was ending, we would still have sex.
We could do it, right? Yeah.
Now, my biggest...
This is our last chance to get horny.
My biggest regret, even beyond not punching up If the World Was Ending by J.P. Sachs and Julia Michaels, is that I bought a prop and I forgot to bring it. I'm so disappointed. Which is, watching this video, one thing that super cracked me up about it, this has been a major plot line for us in the last 10-ish to 20-ish episodes, is deciding whether music videos are canon in the songs world. And we've decided generally it is.
Yeah. Well, the music video will also tell you. And in this case, the music video is very strongly creating the world of the song, and the world is ending. There's some disaster has happened. Some apocalypse has happened.
So one thing that really cracked me up about this is J.P. Sachs, as far as I can tell, is like a generic LA white guy, very skinny, sad boy with like a wispy beard. Kind of like a young, hipper Bon Iver. I don't know. But
I'm feeling very disrespected right now. You're looking at me and describing me. You're looking directly at my face and describing me.
One thing that really cracked me up about J.P. Sachs is he's just a gold chain guy. He's just singing this song while wearing a gold chain. And it's just like, what made J.P. Sachs wake up one day and just say like, you know what? I'm a gold chain guy. And I've wondered that just about men in general. Whenever I see a guy who's a gold chain guy, I'm just kind of like, how'd that guy become a gold chain guy?
Yeah, one day you make the choice.
Was it
some people it works for, some people it doesn't. You know, I'm no fashionista, but one could say that you're waking up every day
and choosing not to be a gold
chain.
chain.
And choosing to be bare chest man.
You're a bare chest man. You and I took our kids over the weekend to meet Santa Claus on Staten Island.
Yeah.
It was the most Staten Island experience. I was so happy.
It was a weird choice, but we did it and we stuck with it.
I was so happy when Santa Claus pulled up in a New York Fire Department fire truck.
For some reason, I think this was maybe false advertising, but for some reason, I thought Santa Claus was going to show up on a train.
Yeah, a fake train. And instead is NYFD truck, which is still pretty cool. The kids liked it.
Just a screaming fire engine.
And this woman in front of us in line turned around and in the most Staten Island accent just screamed, "Michael, come over here. Santa Claus is here with your cousin Anthony." And I was just like, man, I'm really in Staten Island right now. But
implying that cousin Anthony is on the fire truck.
Is on the fire truck, yes.
Is a fireman.
What an amazing tradition for your cousin Anthony to deliver Santa Claus on the fire truck.
That rocks.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And what a feather in the collective cap of your family.
Yes.
To have cousin Anthony on Santa's sleigh.
He's up there with Rudolph.
Yeah, that's huge.
Do you tell your kids that Santa lives at the firehouse? Are you like, he lives at the firehouse? I don't know. So anyway, the kid behind us in line, this kid had an all red tracksuit with black Adidas stripes. He was a gold chain guy. He was a 7-year-old child wearing a gold chain. And I was like, how did this 7-year-old decide to become a gold chain guy? Did he wake up and he was just like, Ma, Dad, I want a gold chain. Did he get one for Christmas?
You don't know that he's old enough to make those choices. This is a dress-up day. He's going to see Santa. Photos are going to be taken.
Is the dress-up day? So his mom is like, Michael, wear your dad's gold chain. You're meeting Santa.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I bought on Amazon the cheapest possible knockoff gold chains for $12 a piece. And today, for the first time ever, as far as I know, I don't think you've ever been a gold chain guy in your life. We were going to get to be gold chain guys while we were recording. I'm so bummed I forgot the gold chains.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's take a pic.
We were going to be gold chain guys for the day.
Let's take a pic later.
We were going to talk about how horny If the World Was Ending was while we were wearing our cool fake gold chains.
Well, there's a risk. If you pilot the program of being a gold chain guy for the day, you know what might happen.
You don't take it off.
You've made the decision and it works. And you look good.
I started getting a lot of Instagram. This is like a couple of years ago. I started getting a ton of Instagram ads for gold chains, and it started making me ask myself a lot, like, "Am I a gold chain guy?"
That's making me think that you might be a gold chain guy. You don't know it because for the same reason that the robots are getting exactly right that you need to see Hoobastank's The Reason on one special day. You needed to see it.
Am I a gold chain guy?
The robots might have pegged, and you don't even have yourself pegged.
Imagine how funny this would be.
You don't even know yourself, and the robots
if I was saying, "Am I a gold chain guy?" while you could hear my gold chain clinking. But unfortunately, it's back home in my underwear drawer, and I put it in a special place for me and you. We'll wear it on Christmas. We'll wear it on Christmas with our kids.
Okay, I'll tell you what my prop was that I also forgot that we're gonna have to take pics of.
Okay.
Later. Most of our listeners are in audio only. Okay. It's pointless. It's pointless.
I'd be rattling the gold chain. I'd be doing a little shimmy. I'd be rattling it.
For those people that are watching, I got you a T-shirt that says "Utah, give me 2." Yeah, that's it.
Love it.
Utah, give me 2.
Did it have Busey's face on it or no?
No, just massive text so you could read it at 100 yards.
Utah, give me 2.
Yeah.
2 meatball subs.
You deserve that shirt.
That's crazy. To eat 2 meatball subs.
You deserve that shirt.
Yeah. What other songs were you hoping to punch up, Evan?
We had talked about doing "Life Is a Highway."
Well, we even had a guest for that.
Yeah, we lined it up.
Requested by a guest. Jason Gore was coming back. It was such a great pick for him because he used to be classic rock DJ. He runs the great podcast The Hawk, which is a classic rock DJ podcast.
But it's like a fictional classic rock
station. I think built on his years of experience working at The Hawk.
Yeah. I know what else we talked about that is worth at least mentioning because Life is a Highway is cheesy as hell, where you could take it or leave it. It's just sort of a thing that happened in the early 90s and then went away. But here's a beloved song that
Do you remember what we were going to do for it? I remember what we were going to do for it, and I found it very funny.
What's that?
We were going to argue an entirely spurious argument, which was when you go back and listen to the verse. Can you play the verse of "Life Is a Highway"? It's insane. Like everyone knows, like "Life is a highway, I wanna drive it all night long," which makes no sense. First of all, which that was Evan's main point, not mine. But the verse is absolutely insane. It's incredibly unmemorable. It's like almost atonal. He's just kind of like mumble talking through the whole verse. Let's see if we can get it here for a second.
Okay, here we go. Here's the verse. I think he's just sort of like going off about how he's a touring guy built for the road.
Yeah, we were going to argue something which is totally made up, but we were going to argue nonetheless, which is that this was the first ever rap rock song. And we were going to drop in, what's the Run DMC Aerosmith song? Walk This Way. We were going to drop in the Run DMC lyrics over the verse. And then right when we got to the chorus, when the drop comes for Life is a Highway, we're going to have Fred Durst come in and just go, I did it all for the nookie.
I'm glad we didn't do it. I don't want to take the L on
You don't
that
think it's
one.
a funny enough idea?
I'm glad we did not do it. But one that I wish that we did, or at least did an episode talking about it, that came up and was on our hit list was, who's the artist? Take a letter, Maria. Dun, 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 dun. Address it to my wife. Bobbity beep boom. Say I won't be coming home. I'm gonna start a new life.
Yeah, I don't like that song either.
But everyone loves it. It's really catchy. The
trumpets are so good.
The feeling of the melody is so sunny, and that lets you like overlook everything that the song is about. Okay, it's, the singer's a guy named R.B. Greaves. I think I was mixing it up in my mind. I was mixing it up with the Operator, which is a Jim Croce song.
Another song I hate. Operator, won't you help me place this call?
So what do those two songs have in common? A narrator that is basically just like dictating the message of the song to an intermediary.
To an employed woman who has no choice but to do it. both Maria and the operator are like, look, man, like they're paying me by the hour. I will do this.
Yeah, quit telling me the story. All I have to do is plug one cable into the switchboard, and you can be making your own call.
I hate both those songs for a similar reason, which is like, why am I listening to a song which is a guy talking to a woman who's not central to the song? Like, wouldn't it be more interesting for Jim Croce's call to be placed and then to hear the call between him and his wife?
You think so, but I think the reason those songs maybe worked a little bit is because they're basically meme songs. They are memes that are playing off of a phrase, a phrase that was common at the time, like operator. Hello, operator. You actually had to talk to an operator to get your local call placed.
Yeah.
And so to turn that into a song would sort of be psychologically catchy. People are used to saying that. Operator, I need to talk to Jane down at extension RC50.
So you pick up the phone, you say operator, and then the song's stuck in your head. You got to go.
Then the song's stuck in your head. So it's a meme song, and for the same reason, like take a letter was a thing that busy executives might say, but also you would see busy executives say in TV shows.
That song at least kind of has a twist where at the end you're realizing that the letter he's dictating to Maria is not only telling his wife, hey, I'm dumping my wife. It's also saying like, because I've fallen in love with my secretary, Maria. So that at least like brings Maria back to the center of the song a little bit, but both those songs I do not like. I don't know how I would have tried to fix them.
The guy dictating to Maria just sucks.
Yeah,
like this dude sucks.
Just go talk to your wife, my man. You don't send your wife a letter that you're getting divorced.
Yikes! Major yikes!
Have a little sit down
and because it's
chat.
Because it's catchy and sunny sounding, you start identifying with this guy. Then you get to the end of the song and you're like, "Do I suck?"
Now we did we ever talk about this on mic before, Evan? I don't know how we would have fixed those last two songs. So I'm turning to at some point you and I sat down and we made a list of the archetypes of types of punches that we made on this show, and maybe we can use this list of archetypes for two purposes now. One, we can figure out what we would have done with Letter to Maria and Operator, but also if you're a fan at home and you managed to stop your weeping, your wailing, your gnashing of teeth, you've gone out, bought another box of tissues, you're back,
you've taken a break,
you don't
in between
know what
bouts
you're
of
gonna
beating
do
your fist against the wall.
I guess you could punch up your own songs, and this list of our Punch Up the Jam archetypes could help you. A lot of times, usually
we're going to give you a guide. We're going to give you a DIY guide.
Yes, and usually when we were punching up a song, like the idea just came to us, and then later we'd be like, well, that's the sort of group That's the archetype this one fit in with. Every once in a while, when we were really stumped on a song, where someone had picked a song, we just had no idea, we'd be like, let's go to the list of archetypes. And usually we'd be like, oh, that's where we're going with this.
The types of punch-ups.
Yes, the types of punch-ups. How many did we come up with?
This is not a song fact, but I'm going to play this bumper because it's my last chance.
Song facts.
Oh, that brings us to your least favorite segment, Evan.
What?
Yeah.
Me playing a segment bumpers reminded
me
you
of a segment. I'm
of the
popping
existence-
this fresh $5 bill.
Come on.
I borrowed from our producer, Emma, right here in the microphone. Here it is.
Then you get $5, baby.
We're not even talking about a song. How are you going to ask me a trivia question?
This is your least favorite segment on the show, $5. For some reason, it used to be brought to you by Venmo, even though Venmo was paying us no money. Then I wised up and I told Mr. Venmo he could keep sponsoring the segment if he paid us $5,000.
Well, he never sponsored the segment. You just used Venmo as your
for some reason I
vehicle.
was Venmoing you $5. It's a lot of product placement that they didn't earn. So now I just have a $5 bill, Evan.
I love it. This is a product placement I can get behind. The U.S. government needs your support.
The U.S. government. Buy bonds. So, Evan, we've done 51 episodes. In 51 episodes, we did 36 $5 segments.
You went back and counted how many $5 segments we did?
How many dollars did you earn?
Oh, God bless. Everyone knows that I hate this segment because I always get it wrong and embarrass myself as a supposed music expert.
But you've gotten quite a few. You got Luther Vandross recently. You split $5 with Phil. That's a big hint that you have a $2.50 floating around there somewhere.
That's
Even though I explicitly told you couldn't do that, I did pay you and Phil both $2.50 for whatever that was.
Yeah, both of those are several weeks ago. Okay, I'm going to guess that out of 6... So we did 16 of these?
32.
Oh, man. I mean, I know I got way less than half, so... I think I probably made $32.50.
Wow.
$32.50.
Evan, this week I'm keeping the $5 bill. I'm actually passing it over the camera back to our producer Emma because I just made that up. I just wanted to hear you squirm at the $5 segment one more time, and I was like, oh shit, what can I make up that would presumably be? And even yesterday I was like, oh, I could go back and figure out how many $5 segments, and then I was like, you know what? That's the sort of work I'd put into the podcast if it hadn't been canceled.
Wow. You're not putting in any work anymore?
Yeah, I'm not going to put that sort of elbow grease into a podcast that's ending this episode. Forget it. So that was my fake $5 episode. That still got the squirmy reaction that I always dream of every week. Although, you know what? I always like it when you win. I always like it when you win the segment.
Thanks. I appreciate the support.
Yeah.
That's very kind of you.
We will watch your career with great interest.
$32.50.
I don't know. I don't know how much you won. If you're a fan out there and you are going to go back and listen to all of the episodes we did just to be nostalgic, just because they were fun,
Yeah.
please keep a running tally.
If
and
you
let
find
us
out,
know.
yeah, you let us know, and then Andrew will send
much
you
money it is.
$2.50
Yeah, you can get the $5 if it's
on Cash App,
on Zelle.
on Zelle.
Brought to you by Bank of America.
Is that- Andrew, something you said this week made me pull a sound clip of Eric Clapton, but I can't remember what we were talking about. What does this soundbite have to do with anything?
I was disgusted and pleased at the same time.
Oh, that's what I said to Jake and Amir when they called us to tell us that the podcast had been canceled. No, what that was, I'll tell you what that was, and that actually is another regret. This is a double regret. Is we
never punched up a Clapton song?
No, I have no desire to punch up a Clapton song. You can hear that would have been a fun episode because you can hear from my voice is just dripping with disdain.
Wow, you feel
I hate
about Eric
Clapton.
Clapton the same way I feel about Counting Crows.
I hate Clapton. Anyway, did I own the Best of Cream album on CD when I was a teenager? Sure. Have I turned against him? Yes. Was it because of the film The Last Waltz? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Have I spent too much time talking about The Last Waltz over the course of the last 3 episodes? Yes. So I'm going to not discuss why. Anyway, what the regret is one really funny bit that we had started to have on our show that was a running bit is Arthur Meyer just came back for the Eye of the Tiger episode, and we surprised him by doing a second John Lennon rap. And one of my regrets was that we were not going to get to do a third John Lennon rap whenever Arthur came back. Although I'm not sure how we would have further surprised him.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably
now
when
he's
he came back the
expecting
third time, he's expecting it. What do you do? Do you have like a Paul rap too? Do you have Ringo rap? I don't know. Maybe you just do the John Lennon rap. So that was a regret of mine. And then I was like, you know what? Tomorrow, we gave Arthur a couple days notice, and we were going to call him right now, FaceTime him, and he was going to do a John Lennon rap for us from the Eric Clapton song, You Look Wonderful Tonight. I don't know, and there's a lot of funny stuff there. First of all, because that song is kind of dumb and sucks, but in like a generic way. It's also like there's some bad blood history there where like when George was quitting the Beatles, like John was like, who cares if George quits? Like, we'll just get Clapton. It's like funny to have like have them crossing over in the 80s.
That's absolutely poisonous.
Anyway,
did they marry each other's wives or something?
They did. They married each other's wives at some
Come
point.
on.
So You Look Wonderful Tonight might actually be about George Harrison's wife who like fell in love with Eric Clapton while she was married to, I don't know.
That's horrifying.
I didn't do the research like I usually do because this is only, most way of real episode.
High
We
school
didn't do a punch-up.
sophomores are still dancing to that song to this day at their
Yeah.
homecoming.
Yeah.
They don't know it's about adultery.
Yeah. So Arthur was going to call in and do a rap about Wonderful Tonight, and then at the last minute something came up at his work and he's not able to. So that's a double regret. We didn't have Arthur back to do another John Lennon rap, and then that Arthur, unfortunately, very understandably, had to cancel and not do the John Lennon rap for Wonderful Tonight. But we know how the rap would have started.
And pleased at the same time.
We know how it would have started with "Hey hey, a hippity hop."
A hop, a hippie to the hop, a hip hip hoppity ho. Your neighborhood wars just can't be stopped. A goo goo gajoob.
So we were gonna talk about the types of punch-ups.
Yeah, you've teased it long enough. What we're
Types
gonna
of
do,
punch-ups,
what
okay.
we are doing on air, in public, is giving you, the listener, a DIY manual for how to punch up and improve any song.
And I think if we had hosted another 50 episodes, maybe even just another one episode,
50,000.
another 50,000 episodes, there would be more type of punch-ups. But after hosting like 40 or 45 episodes, maybe 35 episodes, we sat down and made this list, and we were like, we think every punch-up we've done fits in one of these categories.
Oh, it's definitive.
And the first category is adding a proper amount of specificity.
Yeah. A lot of these big songs, they want to go really general so that they can be heard by a really broad audience.
They're too
Make
vague.
it to the top of the charts. They're too vague. You Look Wonderful Tonight. Great example. We didn't get around to that one. So what's some examples of stuff from our oeuvre?
Great example of that. The first one that comes to mind for me is I Want It That Way. What way do you want it? Unclear what way the Backstreet Boys want it. What do they even want?
What do they even want? I want it that way. What is that way?
Yeah, and we dove into the song and we realized that first, what they wanted was sex. And second of all, at its core, what the song was a disagreement between a man and a woman about who got to be on top while they had sex. They both wanted to be on top. Common marital or boyfriend, girlfriend, or I guess casual is disagreement.
Yeah. I think just by way of a little sidebar here, I know the listeners are going to be curious about like what are our favorite songs and what are our favorite punches. And I can confidently say that there's something we love about every single one we did. We were like putting a lot of work and craft into making the punch-ups, and I think it reads.
That's why it took 17 months to make 12 months of episodes.
But the Backstreet Boys episode is one I'm really proud of, and I'm just going to call out one detail that got dropped in there as an Easter egg.
Okay.
And that is the invention, or at least the naming, specifically, of the missionary position as position 52. Everyone knows that 69 is called 69 because you got to imagine the two numbers doing it. That the 6 and the 9 are just like flipped versions of each other with their faces pointed at each other's crotch. So you picture the 69 and you're imagining exactly what's going on sexually. So therefore, that should be the naming convention for every sexual position. You could imagine like, oh, you're not doing sex? That's an 11. Position 11 is not doing it.
Okay.
You're just laying next to each other like two matchsticks.
Okay. But what's the 50? I admit, I know you're really proud of the 52. I hate to say this. I'm not sure I get the 50. I don't
Picture
understand the 52.
two Arabic numerals. I'm talking about a 5 and a 2.
Yeah, my eyes are closed.
Uh-huh. They
5 and
look
2.
like they're facing each other. In fact, if you imagine a digital clock, then they're exact mirror image.
Okay.
Exact
I'm
mirror image of each
Here's-
other, and their crotches are pointed at each other.
Okay.
And the 5 and the 2
Digital
are
clock.
gazing lovingly into each other's eyes.
I think I made this argument and lost while we were punching up the song, but I think it should be position 4. This is confusing because in the 69 position, canonically, each numeral is one person. But I think it's fun. I think it should be position 4, but both of the people are included in that single numeral because the bottom of the 4 is where the legs are together in missionary.
Just the shape of the number 4
Yes, just
is
the
the
shape of the
shape that
number
you're
4.
making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get where you're coming from that canonically it's got to be 2 numbers because there's 2 participants.
Yeah, it's a 2-digit number. That's the naming convention.
Yeah.
Here's the clip.
Forget 69 and the other ones too. There is only position 52.
That sells it,
I will say,
That's generation defining. We can all get behind position 52.
I sang a lot of these punch-ups and, my Tom Petty impression, passable. My Jacob Dylan impression, fine. My Adam Derwitz impression, fine too, I guess. Perhaps you're seeing a pattern in the people I'm doing impressions of. I just want to shout out 2 ultimate secret weapons we had in making this podcast, which are the dulcet voices of Evan Gregory and Sarah Gregory. Just the fact that you are able to, there's 5 people singing on that track and none of them are me. You and Sarah really sold a lot of the pop songs in a really extraordinary way. Good, and you deserve some real plaudits for it. Congratulations.
Thank you so kindly. I accept that plaudit.
Please pass that along to Sarah.
I accept that plaudit. Okay, what's the next category of? So we talked about adding proper specificity. The Backstreet Boys were too general, and it was holding their song back. We made the song a lot better by bringing in the details. What's the next category? And let's have an example to support it.
The next category is controversial. This is what category that I really enjoyed doing, and you did not like doing, and you called me out on it early. And honestly, I think I gave up too much ground to you on it. I think I was like, you know what? This is good advice overall. I should stick with Evan's thing. And then like 20 or 30 episodes, I looked at the list. I think it was when I was making this, and I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Like I started doing only, like I should have like edged towards Evan, but I went too far to Evan's side.
Your regret is that you didn't fight me more.
Yes. Maybe it would have been funny for the podcast. Fake fighting, not real fighting, fake fighting. The category is addressing the artist's bio. And this was a more general meta conversation we had where you really wanted the punch-ups to live in a world where you could just listen to the original song and then listen to the punch-up and understand the joke without any context from the podcast.
Yeah, that the punch-up should be predicated on the music and lyric content of the original song.
Where I really found it funny to, if we went on some weird tangent in the podcast, to try to write the whole punch-up, not even about the artist's bio like this category is, but about like that tangent. Like we went on a big tangent. I think this argument all happened when Justin Richmond came on and we were talking about Sexy Bitch with Akon.
Yeah. You wanted to make the whole punch up about A-Coin.
No, I did that too. I also wanted to do that. But we ended up talking about Point Break for a long time.
Oh, God.
And then I wanted to make the whole, I had a whole thing written where it was all about like bank heists and Point Break and stuff.
You wrote top to bottom lyrics. That was
top
just
to bottom,
the plot of Point Break.
Point Break lyrics.
Utah, give me 2.
And you were just like, Andrew, like we got to stay a little more on target here. We got to stay a little more focused here, which is maybe not true, maybe a little true. But this is, generally in the a little bit more in the meta realm. Songs that punch-ups we made that are not about the song itself, but about the events in the artist's life that were happening around the writing of the song.
Say like Tom Petty's house burning down.
Tom Petty's house burning down for I Won't Back Down. Ringo Starr eating an octopus.
Yeah.
and then writing Octopus's Garden.
And just beefing with the other Beatles.
Yes, and beefing with other Beatles. Or rather, disappearing into the background as the other Beatles beefed.
And you go back and listen to those tracks, they are a lot better because we address the elephant in the room. Ringo's in a fight with the other Beatles. All the Beatles are fighting. Tom Petty's house burned down, and it's a mystery. Everybody wants to know who it was.
Yeah, even
the songs
Sugar.
are a lot better.
Sugar from last week.
Yeah.
because it addressed the sexts, finally. Unlike Adam Levine's Wikipedia article. Adam Levine's Wikipedia article still has not addressed the sex, ladies
Even
and gentlemen.
Wikipedia is afraid to talk about it.
Yeah, Andy the Grump is still out there blocking all those edits. Another category of punch up for those of you at home wanting to punch up some songs is, hey, transpose the setting.
Oh, wow.
Take this song, put it in a different setting. You don't think of a song as having a setting. You think of like a novel as having a setting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something feels wrong about this song. Something feels off. That's because it's not describing the right place or even the right time.
And that, I think the best example of that is when Connor Ratliff came on and we talked about. Can you play the top of the punch up we did for Connor Ratliff for Dua Lipa's Levitating? I think just right at the top of it, it really puts you in the correct setting for Dua Lipa's Levitating, unlike the song Levitating by Dua Lipa. It puts you in a terrible setting. JK, I love that song. So many Evans on this track. There's like 32 Evans singing.
It's worth every second.
If you look up at the stars and think about our galaxy where God has placed us on
This all ended up being like, this should be like a horny Netflix show about monks making astronomical discoveries in the 1500s in the high mountains of Switzerland. I mean, basically we did that all in a song. They don't even need to make a Netflix show about it because we accomplished it in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, when you think about the super genre of premium TV that is like period pieces with lots of people doing it, oof, they're missing out on the Benedictine monks. They're missing out on In the Name of the Rose.
There'd be like papist intrigue. There'd be, the papists versus the non-papists. I don't know what the non-papists are called.
Yeah, anti-popes.
Okay. Similar, we decided this was a different category, but a very similar category is bringing a song that's really set in a certain moment up to the present date.
Yeah. That's an important update because the song just doesn't work now if it's set so clearly.
Yeah, The Gambler is talking about trains. What are those?
We don't know about trains now.
Yeah, forget it.
This is the 21st century.
So that one we brought up to date by talking about...
We travel by Venmo here.
I think I got Discord server in. I think The Gambler meets the other gambler on a Discord server.
Yeah.
And this one I was really proud of getting the real modern country sound with the really auto-tuned guitar hammer-ons, hammer-offs, and that snap track.
Oh, sounds fresh. You updated the music way better.
I really worked hard to get that Kenny Rogers vocal fry too. On that episode, I believe it was episode 10, we got really talked to his vocal fry is so amazing. So good.
And there's whole songs about fantasy sports. But the vocal fry is just Andrew spinning the whole song, starting every vowel with. If you can get your vocal delivery to sound half Texas, half Poltergeist, you got it right. You got it right.
Next category, easy for us because we're, I would say, specialists of it. I think honestly, both times we did this, it was mostly a cheat. It was weeks that we did not say this on these weeks, but it was weeks that we were brutally desperate. We were really far behind.
Wow, Andrew.
A little peek behind the curtain. I'll only say it now that we're done and no one will know that we almost came off the throne.
Wow,
to skip a week.
The raw vulnerability, the rigorous honesty
mashup
that you are bringing to this episode is humbling.
We mashed up Krung Bin with Frank Sinatra to make Krung Binatra, and we mashed up Barack Obama with Ayaz so that Ayaz's song Replay would have a memorable lead singer rather than a non-memorable lead singer. And both of those were kind of out of our deep book depository of like things we'd done many years ago, and we just recycled them a little bit for a podcast.
If a punch up is a punch up is a punch up.
A punch up is a punch up is a punch up. And we couldn't have done a better punch up of the Ayaz song. There's no better punch up. And we came by honestly. Phil really did say, I want to punch up Replay by Ayaz.
Yeah.
We're not going to do a second punch up of Ayaz. We already punched up once.
Yeah.
We can't punch it up higher than that.
And it sounds freaking great.
Yeah,
Barack Obama's singing voice A++.
The Krung Banatra was more of a cheat than the IS, because I was just like, oh man, we got to put out an episode this week.
Yeah, but that one also slaps.
Let's punch it.
Ooh, this is maybe the most surprising category, the most shocking category, the most counterintuitive category, and the category that I'm proudest of thinking up. Because when I suggested this category to you, you were like, wow. It kind of blew your mind a little bit when I came up with this category, which...
Don't leave me hanging. What is it?
Which includes more songs than you would think. The exposure of an unreliable narrator.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about unreliable narrators on this show.
This is crucial, and every listener out there should turn their incisive eye towards every song on the top 40, every song ever, and ask that question, is this singer really telling me the truth? Is this singer really who he or she thinks that they are?
You ask it in literature. You ask it when you're reading Catcher in the Rye, or you're reading the corrections.
Yeah, even the unlikable protagonist trend in TV and cinema.
Yeah. But when Bob Dylan sings, baby, all I want to do is, baby, be friends with you.
Wow.
Does he just want to be friends? Does he? And the couple that really hit for me as landing in there is the first episode we ever did together, Feel Like Making Love.
Yeah, the first episode that we did, it was just the two of us.
When we dug into that song, we realized this is a song written by a virgin.
Yeah.
This is a song written by a man who's never made love.
This person has never made love.
I guess
they don't know what it's like.
That doesn't preclude him to feel like making love.
Yeah, it doesn't prevent you from being horny.
But in some other parts of the song, he suggests that he has a lot of a love-making experience.
Yeah, we can accept that the man is horny. We're not saying he's not horny and lying about being horny.
And
we're not saying he's asexual.
And in that one, in some of them, we leaned into the honesty of it. And that one, we actually leaned into the lie of it. And the chorus was, I'm not a virgin. John, cha, 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 cha. Sex is really fun.
Yeah.
John, cha, 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 cha. But we also Manic Monday. Manic Monday, which is a song I was really glad to do because I hate it. That hit me in my YouTube recommendations.
Yeah.
This person's complaining about always being late to work. But when you examine the lyrics, you realize, like, well, it's because they're really bad at planning. They're externalizing their internal problems.
The song works for one reason only, and that is because Monday happens 1 out of every 7 days, and it gives you a good reason to think about that song. Yeah. It's the same, a very similar approach to Operator or Take a Letter. Like, wow, another Monday. Here I am. That reminds me of the one friggin' song about Mondays. I guess there's two. The other one being Monday, Monday. Can't trust that day, which is similar vibe, but a similar message. But we don't need to get into it. But yeah, when you dig into Manic Monday, as we deeply discussed on the ep, it's just this person's friggin' fault.
Yeah, we built this city. We ended up classifying as a unreliable narrator because it seems like a lot of fun stuff was happening in LA in the 80s, and Grace Slick is just bemoaning that nothing cool is happening in LA in the 80s. Like, that's just you aging out of being cool, Grace Slick, which she knew. She was like, guys, I got to write one hit and retire. I'm too old for this rock and roll BS.
She was already approaching AARP levels.
Yeah.
We feel so shitty. We feel so shitty that we feel so shitty.
We feel so shitty that we got old.
Now they're finally telling the truth. Now they're finally telling the truth, and the song is a lot better for it.
That just hits I was riding my bike home that night, and I was just really, really racking my brain. And when that sideways rhyme, we talk about a sideways rhyme as being a rhyme between the original song and the Punch-Up song. When that sideways rhyme hit, we feel so shitty that we got old, rock and roll. I was just like, we got it, baby.
Done.
The rest of it doesn't matter. Yeah. Although the Forrest Gump, it was a real, I was really glad to get the Forrest Gump radio thing in.
Yeah. That's universal, man. I will say all these categories are so true. You can go back and look across the entire portfolio of the whole podcast throughout Miel's tenure, throughout Demi Miel's tenure. Just off the top of my head, Kokomo, when Demi punched it up with, we're down at Trader Joe's. Both is he bringing it into the present and changing the setting to make the song much better and make it much more relatable to our current day life. Yep. He is using exactly these categories and also very effective sideways rhyme from Kokomo to Trader Joe's.
You gotta have a good sideway rhyme.
Yep. That's exactly how you do it, folks. You can put that in your book at home.
So another great category, second to last category, is something absolutely unrelated to the song that we talked about in the interview, which I adored doing those. An example, I guess maybe the Cascada that we do with Annie would count every time we touch, because we made it about the Dave Matthews Band, Flushing Incident. Of course, one of the earliest episodes we did, Because of You.
Yeah.
Akilah hated that the song includes the word sidewalk.
Right.
Sidewalk. Because it's just, great point by Akilah. Terrible song, terrible word to sing.
Unusual sounding word.
Sidewalk.
Sidewalk. It's clumsy. So we made the whole song about walking on sidewalks. Really just to annoy her.
Yeah, this one we were just full trolling her.
You were just trolling her.
I think in the second verse we used the word moist khakis. My khakis grew more, like my khakis are growing moist as like a damp rain falls upon me or something. Khakis.
To only walk in designated places. Sidewalks go through Kelly's neighborhood.
Maybe she's more okay with K's because her name is Kelly. I never thought of that.
K is easy to sing. That's great.
It's easy to sing when it's at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, not so great when it's at the end. So the last category, Evan, is one that really is near and dear to my heart. In part because it takes the least work. It takes the spark of a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
It takes the least work, and that is a shitpost.
The beloved shitpost.
How would you explain shitpost to someone who isn't extremely online, Evan?
Okay. I think what it's supposed to mean is extremely low effort.
Yes.
Taking two things that exist and smashing them together with little to no craft to just get the idea across and drop it and move on.
Yeah, like not in the punch-up world, not in the song world, but like a shitpost on Twitter or Instagram would be like just the worst ever Photoshop that you're like not even doing in Photoshop. You're doing in like Mac Paint, and you're doing it as fast as possible so you can post it, and that's just a little shitpost you made in 1 minute.
Yeah, I ripped this song and then I sped it up 20% and reposted it.
Yeah, like example on YouTube, there's a whole genre of songs that's like Shrek, but every time they say the word Shrek, the movie speeds up 2% or 1%. That actually seems like a lot of work to me, so maybe it's not a great example of shitpost, but it is a very dumb joke. Shitpost should be dumb.
A stupid joke.
Yeah.
And probably we did a few, but our best shitpost is probably the longest sung note in history. Everybody loves this friggin' long note. Make the whole song the long note.
But I just want to emphasize for those listening at home who are our parents, shitpost is not a word we've made up. This is a technical term that the internet agrees on.
Industry term.
And we're simply just repeating a technical term when we say that this is a great shitpost. What other shitpost we did? That was a really good shitpost.
Well, every time Michael came
on, he brought a shitpost.
Every time he came on as a guest, he brought a shitpost.
He really got me.
He brought a high effort. He brought a high effort shitpost by mashing up some pop punk vocal.
Where are you? My Dust in the Wind was kind of a shitpost where I just took I did have to rewrite the lyrics a little bit, but I just took my favorite happy sad song, Same Old Song.
Same Old Song.
And I just sang Dust in the Wind.
It's kind of a high effort shitpost, but I see where you're going. I see what you're getting at. You're just smashing it with the other thing.
Yeah. I don't know, that one is living. That one's living somewhere. Maybe that one's not in a category. It's living somewhere between shitpost, mashup, and unreliable narrator.
Okay, but I want to just apply this philosophy, this unified theory of punch-ups a little bit to some other songs.
Theory of punch-ups.
Like one fan favorite that we heard from a lot of fans about was our punch-up of Brandy, in which, what are we trying to do? We're trying to center Brandy as the protagonist in her own story, right? She's just jilted, and if it was any less catchy, like that song would be in the dustbin. But they nailed it with the doo 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 and unlocked like a secret psychological warfare weapon with that catchy doo doo.
Yeah. And we went full hero's journey with it and made it about her like meeting a wizard who takes her to a land and she like pulls a sword out of a stone or something. It was like a Lord of the Rings ripoff with Brandy.
Yeah, hell yeah. And so obviously we have a lot of nerds and fantasy buffs and D&D players that listen to this pod and they freaking loved it. How would you, according to the unified theory of punch-ups, categorize that Brandy punch-up?
Change in setting.
And proper amount of specificity.
Proper amount of specificity.
Giving Brandy the details of her life.
Right. Because as we were starting to talk about Brandy, you and me and Gabrus all were like, oh, the thing about this story is it's like has this huge narrative arc for Brandy. It's really this narrative song. And by the time we finished listening to it, we were like, yeah, there's really no narrative. There is no
story. There's more story about the guy that's gone than about Brandy. You don't know anything other than she serves wine and she walks deserted streets.
So what are we going to do with the what did you call it? The
unified theory of punch-ups.
What are we going to punch up operator with? I haven't really looked at the lyrics, so I'm not sure. But
oh, hell yeah. He's an unreliable narrator, Andrew.
He's an unreliable narrator.
We got to reveal the truth about this douchebag and the song would be way
Wise
better.
Girl Left.
Yes.
Wise Girl Left. Or you could also bring it into the present and like who would he be talking to other than the operator?
That's a better song. Okay, Andrew, I have a surprise for you.
Is it a punch-up, and then I have to correct my correction that we didn't have a punch-up?
Yes.
No.
Yes. Oh, no. You said that we didn't have a punch-up this week. Wow. And it's basically true, because I stopped all effort and all work once I learned that the show was canceled. I spent a couple days crying. I spent a couple more days after that drinking. 2 days after that recovering from the hangover. And then I came here immediately to record, and I have just the beginning, just the opening phrase of an idea for a punch-up. So it's not a fully punched-up song. We always put the effort in to get the song to full length whenever we're punching up a track and deliver the goods for the fans on the show and to our patrons on Patreon. Sidebar, I pledge that we'll leave the songs up there forever.
Yeah, the songs will...
You could join our Patreon at patreon.com/Gregory Brothers 3 years from now.
Yeah.
And we will have 3 years worth of other shit posts. But you will still be able to come back to this year and find these 52 songs. 52.
Click on that little tag and you just find the 52 songs. And that Patreon is really more about our YouTube channel than it is about Punch Up the Jam. So that'll still be there in 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, but we'll still have the songs up.
Okay, so Evan. I'm surprising you with this unfinished, half-baked idea for a punch-up that is for a song that I really wanted to punch up. And some of our guests even mentioned it. So I knew it was going to happen eventually. And we haven't yet mentioned this song. So I want to listen to it, and then you tell me what category of punch-up does this go in.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man.
Okay.
Pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man.
Sad Y.M.C.A. Sad Y.M.C.A. So I'm imagining a Transformers trailer. Whenever you hear a sad song like this,
it could be a movie trailer.
Could be a Transformers trailer.
Listen to the hook.
It's fun to stay at the Y.M.C.A. It's fun to stay at the Y.M.C.A.
Little Donnie Darko reference here. Is it Gary Glitter who did the Donnie Darko?
Gary Jules.
With all of the boys.
Everybody knows Mad World by Gary Jules covering Tears for Fears is one of the saddest songs ever.
I'm going to say that this is a combination unreliable narrator, because it's probably not that fun to stay at the Y.M.C.A.
Bingo.
I think it's not fun to stay at the Y.M.C.A., and this song is admitting it, with shitpost. That's my assessment using your unified theory of punch-ups of your punch-up of the Y.M.C.A.
Y.M.C.A., the original, is so on the nose happy that it feels like they were influencers paid by Y.M.C.A. for a sponsored post.
Yeah. This would be a great song to use in a documentary, like a black and white documentary trailer about the downfall of the Trump organization. because it's extremely humorous to me that Y.M.C.A. has somehow become his main song that he plays on stage, that he does his like weird shake weight dance to.
Oh yeah.
Like to the point that now like MAGA militias are like blasting Y.M.C.A. at like MAGA militia functions.
You're right.
It's really fucked up and messed up.
It really sucks that we lost that song.
Sucks.
We lost
it
Y.M.C.A.
Absolutely sucks. And I would just love for there to be a sad, like absolutely scintillating documentary made in 10 years after he's dead in the ground about how he went to jail in the next year to two for all his financial crimes. And there's the black and white trailer just playing the sad Y.M.C.A. And everyone's like, that song that he ruined has now been reclaimed, but it's sad because he was sad and he lived a sad end to his sad life. But Evan, I said I wasn't going to go political.
You know what?
So
I was disgusted and pleased at the same time.
Man, I wish that could have been in the soundboard the whole time. So I guess, I feel like I'm wrapping up the episode with just yet another correction, as I should for Brothers Up, which is there was, in fact, a punch up today. Thank you, Evan, for bringing in one last punch up.
What do you think? Now we're talking about this while we're recording. Do we title the episode Y.M.C.A. as if we're talking about the Village People the whole time?
We could title it Y.M.C.A. We could title it End of the World as We Know It. We could title it Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Maybe American Pie by Don McLean. Maybe what's the song by Boyz II Men? How do I say goodbye?
We should do like a YouTube clickbait title where the title of the episode is just "I'm sorry." Period.
Just probably do Y.M.C.A. We'll do Y.M.C.A. Evan, I think that brings us to the end of the episode. So for one last time, it's time for me to ask you, what is your walking in music?
What is your walking in music?
Yeah, thanks for that question. And, for obvious reasons, we can talk about a scenario today that we have yet to broach on the many, many weeks of doing walk-in music. The hosts and the guests have walked into funerals, arraignments, sentencing hearings, spy confrontations, getting fired, lots of lovers' quarrels, all sorts of things. But nobody has ever walking out of a podcast.
Yeah. Is that what you're going to do? You're going to walk out of a podcast?
Well, it feels obvious.
You are. You're literally going to walk out of a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I could have picked something different, like just, I'm walking into my barber's.
Okay.
Take a letter, Maria. I'm walking into my affair. We talked about Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Let's just play this just as the warm-up track for this. Unless you're going to use this?
I have at least 2 or 3 walk-on songs.
You got 2 or 3?
Yeah, I got 2 or 3.
Okay, great. Then I'll just spend mine, which is like a heartfelt song that I love, but I want to recast it. This is my song for walking out of hosting Punch of the Jam, which has, I'll sincerely say this, been such a joy this year. We put a ton of work into it. It took a ton of time, and we loved it. It's been it's been an honor to sit in the virtual seat. The song I'm going to play is called Game Winner by Charles Jones and Wolfpack. It's meant to be a song about a game winner who is literally singing about put me in coach so I can hit the game-winning 3. But the tone of the song does beg the question if perhaps it's a bit unreliable. And I've listened to the song a million times, and I do sometimes like to imagine it from the perspective of a washed-up former champion who wishes that he could be put in. And he has been that game winner many times. And one last time, I've been put here for episode 52 of our Punch Up the Jam run. And now, as a washed-up host, I'm going to walk out. Canceled but glorious. Canceled but victorious. This is Game Winner.
Is it a basketball game or going to church? Maybe both.
This tempo has exactly the backbeat that I love.
Fourth quarter, babe. I'll hit the game win.
He could be telling the truth, or he could be looking back in melancholy.
Not over, babe.
But maybe it's over for me.
Oh, man. I saw them do this live.
I didn't come here to cry, Andrew.
I saw them do this live, and it was so good I bought the merch. They have a shirt that just says game winner on it. With a basket, with basketball going into the basket. Seeing them do it live was so good I bought the merch.
Take a chance on me. Take a chance on me.
I didn't plan on pattering over this song, but you know, now that I'm listening to it, thanks for taking a chance on me.
Me?
This is to the royal you. Definitely you.
I was like, I didn't have a choice. They offered the job to us. They didn't offer the job to me.
I met a fan of the show, fan of the pod, this week, who had traveled from Australia, and so this is shout out to them. Thanks for coming to the show. It's great to meet a fan in person. I could not tell them to their face, even though I already knew that the show was canceled. So I'm apologizing.
You feel like you lied to them.
I feel like I lied to them because they were telling me how much they loved the show, and we performed the Long December Punch Up live,
which is fun, really
absolutely
fun.
Slapped. The room lost it.
Everybody was singing the Fa La Las.
Everybody sang the friggin' Fa La Las. What could be better? What could be better? And some fans had traveled from Melbourne to New York, came to the show, and I feel like I lied to them by basically just gratefully
you just
accepting
didn't want to ruin their night. They were coming off the high of...
They just sang Follow Up.
You came off the high of the Christmas show. They're like, we love your podcast so much. If you'd been like, well, we're recording the last episode tomorrow, they would have been like, what?
So this is my direct apology to a fan, and I just want to say to you guys, thanks for taking a chance on me. Yeah. Andrew, what's your walk-in music?
I have a couple walk-in songs, just because I thought, why the hell not?
Yeah, why the hell not?
My first walk-in song is Walking into the Headgum Kitchen. Mm-hmm. Right after we finished recording this episode. The Headgum Kitchen has a fridge in it.
So your walk-in music is gonna take place 5 minutes from now.
Yes, but it's not actually gonna happen because this would be like more cinematic. There'd be wind machines, it'd be slow motion and stuff. I have long hair, so my
great.
hair
That's
would
the
be
best
blowing
version of this segment. Yeah.
Every week we go through, I would say, between 2 and 7 polar seltzers while we're recording episodes.
Yeah.
And there's always some really, really, really nice beers in there.
Trying to milk the Headgum Kitchen for all it's worth.
And I've never had a single one of the beers because I've got to be so clear-headed for this podcast. Other podcasters out there drinking while they chat. Me, no. I got to be clear-headed for these song facts.
Industry knowledge.
Yeah. And this is me walking into the kitchen, but also I'm walking into the kitchen to crack a beer, one of these nice Headgum beers I didn't pay any of my hard-earned dollars for, but also as just like the weight of hosting this podcast falls for me, not my choice, but it's just the way it is. And I say, you know what? We did it. We put out 52 really good episodes of this podcast, Evan. Congratulations. We did it. That wasn't the song. But that's really funny. That wasn't the song I was thinking of. It's less cool. But it's more sentimental. That's probably how I really feel. This is how I really feel. Now I'm going to have even more walk-in songs. Okay, fade this out. I'm going to cry. Fade this out. And hit...
What song do you want me to play? REM?
No. So that's probably how I actually will feel in terms of how sentimental and sad I'll be, because I really did love doing this podcast. Mm-hmm. But this is the song I actually meant to play because this is how cool I want to feel and how cool I want everyone to think I am. And also how I will feel in maybe 2 or 3 months about, like, you know what? I did a lot of cool punch-ups and I did a lot of cool podcasting. And what's cooler than podcasting?
This is you walking in the rest of your life, my friend.
Yeah. Nobody's as dope as me. Nobody's as dope as me. I made 52 episodes.
Everybody needs
Punch
a
Up
walk.
the Jam.
Everybody needs a walk-in song to the rest of their life.
Except when I was on my paternity leave. Okay. You can fade this out. My second walk-in song.
Great pick.
My second walk-in song is me just driving down the road at top speed with the window down. I'm sticking my head out like a dog of the window, so my hair's blowing, and I'm 100% not thinking about podcasting at all in any way, shape, or form, or in any way how I would change the words or the music to this absolutely perfect song.
Okay. Live track. Oh no.
Okay, I just want to say that Evan put me up to this. Evan goaded me into having one of my mini walk-in songs be a Van the Man song because we talked about the na-nas so much in the last couple weeks.
This song has come up
This is the ultimate na-na song.
at least 3 times for us. I know it even came up for Demi and Miel. This song really casts a long shadow.
And we sang the Fa La La's on Sunday night. It really killed. There they are, the na-nas.
King of the na-na, Van Morrison.
Trademark, na-nas.
Singing Caravan.
Okay.
And I want to say a fan called this out after the Long December episode when we were talking about the na-nas so much. I saw a fan call this out in the comments somewhere that they channel Van Morrison's energy on this specific track when he filmed The Last Waltz in person when they leave a room. The way Van Morrison leaves the stage, the band is still playing.
He does the karate kick.
He finishes singing, and then he leaves the stage punching the air and karate kicking unnecessarily while the band takes the instrumental track all the way home.
In a tight jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Sequin jumpsuit.
Bring that vibe into the rest of your life.
Okay, my last walk-in song is I'm sitting in a bar. It's 20 years from now, and someone walks up to me and says, "Excuse me, didn't you used to host Punch Up the Jam?"
I couldn't help but recognize your voice
I
from an
heard your-
audio-only medium.
I heard your voice. Didn't you used to host Punch Up the Jam? And I say this.
I heard you talking distractedly about unreliable narrators.
Yes, and I just lip sync along to this song, which has just come onto the jukebox. A lot of sitting in my walk-in songs tonight.
Go away from my window. Leave out your own chosen.
You know, I'm not lip syncing yet. This is where the conversation is happening. The conversation is still happening.
Staring at them, unblinking.
Yeah, they're like, "Excuse me, I heard you talking about unreliable narrators like Bob Dylan."
Mm-hmm.
And your 8 categories of punch-ups that are now in textbooks across the nation. In the Punch Up the Jam 101 textbook, taught at many public and private universities.
The famous podcast Punch Up the Jam, which now
the cult classic,
which now in 2030 has been brought back and is being hosted by Jacob Dylan and Blue Ivy Carter.
Is it you? And then this is where I say, "It ain't me, babe." No, that must have been some other podcast host. I will say there has been some chatter. I don't want to, ruin Jake and Amir's day or week. There's been some chatter about, as you may or may not know, Evan and I are not the owners of this podcast. It's a Headgum owned podcast. They brought us on to host it. There has been a little bit of chatter that perhaps someday the podcast could come back. It could be a new host. It could be someone other than us, in which case I hope you magnanimously welcome them. It could be me and Evan again.
Well, now that we've given away the manual, could be a fan.
It could be a fan now that you know the 8
given away the
categories of
guidebook.
But 2 things. First, whoever that next host is,
I'll tell you who it's going to be.
do a Bob Dylan song, because we talked about this last week. No one has done a Bob Dylan song. Punch up a Bob Dylan song. I don't care which one it is. And second of all,
we've done a million songs on this show. When you add up all the hundreds of episodes from Demi to Miel to us, no one's done Clapton. No one's done Bob Dylan. No one's done a Sinatra tune.
But the other thing is, I would love, even though the podcast is over, I would love to hear from the fans. Please send us a DM on Twitter or tweet at us on Twitter or Instagram. What categories did we miss? In our 8 categories of punch-ups, is there a category of punch-up that we have done ourselves yet overlooked, or that we overlooked and could have been doing this whole time? What other categories are out there? What is the 9th dimension of punching up?
I whimsically joked that the future version of this podcast is going to be hosted by Blue Ivy Carter.
Okay.
But you know who's actually going to host this podcast when it comes back post-recession is ChatGPT. Guaranteed. We're out here analyzing how to punch up a song. The robots could figure it out in 2 seconds by looking at all of our perfect punch-ups, running them through 1 million repetitions on a neural net.
Oh, man.
ChatGPT could nail this freaking podcast.
And then just whenever they put out a bad punch-up, all you do is the next time you're doing the prompt, just say, like, that same punch up but better.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting better because you told it to. Wow.
Exactly. You put that in the text prompt. Do it better.
Do it same but better.
Yeah.
Whew. Anything you want to close with for the fans, Evan? We told everyone that all the songs are going to be up on Patreon. You know, we don't care if you follow the podcast on Twitter or Instagram because
it's going to go
not
dark.
employing us anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should follow it though because it's actually very easy follow now because it's not going to clog up your feed.
Yeah. You just look cool.
You'll be the first one back when that long-awaited tweet in 2040 comes across your feed.
Yeah.
And it's going to get throttled by Elon, of course. So it'll take a while for the tweet to make it to your feed. But it will eventually, and you'll be one of the people that are in the know.
Yeah. But you can follow me or Evan on Twitter, Instagram. I'm A-Rose Gregory. Evan is Get Some Evan. And really, it just has been an extreme pleasure to host this show for the last year. So thank you all so much for listening. And hopefully there's some episodes you missed. You can go back and check them out and learn more about the 8 categories of punch-ups.
I'm not ready to go out yet just because I want to just for the benefit of myself, but also for the listeners to say that Jake and Amir rule. They've been nothing but boosters of this podcast, and their episodes absolutely slap and have hilarious songs in them. So you should go back and check those out. But they have given so much to this show and been nothing but supportive, even in adverse environments that result in this event today. But I also want to shout out a person who makes me say,
just me being open to life.
Who is super producer Emma that came on to our show when we were just a couple of weeks in and has been such absolute boon to the show.
Get on the applause button over there on the soundboard.
I have a button that I use like 1 out of every 10 eps that's called Stadium_claps. And this Stadium_claps is for super producer Emma, who has put so much work into making this show happen, making sure that the studio's popping off and that the guests make it here while we're worrying about whether or not to play a C minor underneath Adam Levine or some garbage like that. So thank you to Emma, and right after this, we're going to go crack one of the free Headgum beers, I think. And thanks to our super editor, John, who is having to cut out all of the many times that we have heard the phrase, and you never have.
Because we declared we would never say this on the podcast. And I think except once, we kept that pledge. This would be the one podcast you never hear edit this out on.
Wow.
And, while we're thanking people, we should thank really our superhero semi-hosts, Michael and Sarah, of the Gregory brothers. Sarah, who sang so many of the punch-ups, and we really should have had on as a guest and never did. We would have done that in the next
just to have her
episodes.
do the Shania impression live.
Just to do the live. Talk about how she gets into all the characters she did.
We robbed the world of that listening opportunity.
Yeah. And Michael, who co-hosted a couple episodes and really brought in some barn burner punch-ups.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we will see you next week. We're going to have another punch-up. We're going to be back with another of the greatest hits of all time. Improved and no correction.
Andrew, listen. I've been meaning to say something for a while.
Uh-huh.
And listen closely.
It's shame we're ending the show because I finally started liking the sound.
I was disgusted and pleased at the same time.
You've been listening to Punch Up the Jam.
That was a Headgum original.